Welcome to Tuesday night, everybody. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Meringolo. He's Kevin Ricca.
Well, it's nice to be here on a Tuesday night. So drafty. We're so drafty in D.C. now. So many happy things happening.
Sitting right here in a T spot for the night, our good friend Derek Elphick. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, boys. I have the seat where I can see the Caps game perfectly.
Yes. So we'll read off your reaction to see how we're doing. Let's just get right to the news of the day. I thought there was so many fun things about the announcement that the draft is coming into DC. I mean, they teased it, so we kind of knew. But so let's separate the two things, because the way it went down, and I know people watched it. It was classic outrageous DC live. But as you guys know, I have zero interest in going to the draft, even when it's in our backyard. But they said 1 million people, and I didn't think about it. You know, Ravens, Skins, Steelers, Eagles. I guess you could say, you know, Carolina is not that far away. New York and Boston, or New York more so than anyone else.
And all those people are crazy. They're just as crazy as we are.
And there's already a ton of fans from everywhere else here already.
Exactly.
And there's nobody who's not a Green Bay fan in Green Bay.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was
the draft looked amazing this year.
We had so many questions. It looked tremendous.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe the participation was of that level.
Seriously.
Those people are nuts.
It looked like a rock concert.
Well, they had some big bands, I think, eventually come out. I wonder,
They had to have.
how do you entertain 1 million people for, 3 straight days? At some point on Friday, it's around the clock. I mean, can the NFL do it? That's that's crazy.
If they can do it in Green Bay, and everyone was there on day 3, it was packed.
Yeah,
it was. I would go to one day for a little bit.
But the mall, I mean, we're talking like 1 million people. With Green Bay, that might have been like 60 or 70,000 ish.
Yeah,
but 1 million.
It looked like, well, yeah, I don't know.
1 million's a lot.
And I'm not great at calculating statistics, but 1 million is a lot.
And so
that was 1 million attended this last draft.
No. I think the last draft was somewhere like however many people fit in Green Bay Stadium. There's probably a little more than that.
Right.
Because they were all there. Every single freaking one of them.
That's true.
But they're saying on the mall, they're going to do this thing on the mall. I mean, they have room. Let's just say the permit for the mall is as many people as you can fit on it.
Oh, that metro. That
it's going to be a disaster. No one from DC wants to go there.
Implode.
If you live there, fine.
It is so dangerously close to, oh my God, cherry blossoms and the draft, and it's about to get feisty.
It'll be beautiful on TV. It'll be beautiful on the big screen, and from the basement, from people's patios, or wherever they want to watch it.
You're saying there's not going to be a First Amendment meetup tent?
No chance. I actually know, like, if I was still at Hogs Haven, we would 100% have like a presence there, and it would suck. It's I don't know.
Have you ever gone to one?
A draft? No, I love the draft. It's one of my favorite sporting events of the year. I do it my way. I love it.
I know guys who called out work, like the draft was their thing, and just watching it. But I mean, you can't, if you're gonna go to one, it's got to be this one.
I can honestly say
I'm gonna go to it.
I don't want to go anywhere where there's 1 million people.
I don't
I'll
either.
say that.
I don't either.
Yep.
But I'm gonna go to it.
Yep.
Somehow for like a 2-hour span, something where I can just say I did something, I heard it, I saw it, whatever. Because that's just,
you can walk there.
That's different though. You know what I mean?
Don't walk back.
No.
It's all uphill.
No, I got a scooter for that.
Yeah.
You know how I get around DC.
Oof. Great walk there. So it's great. Like and that's obviously Goodell and the NFL, they didn't care about coming to DC when Snyder was around. And so Harris gets a lot of credit for this. So this totally is intermixed with the stadium negotiations and the stadium deal. I think someone said that if DC puts like a quarter of the money in for infrastructure, they're going to lease us. I say us because I'm part owner of the team. Lease us the land for $1 for like 90 years or whatever. But if they get 2 big events, DC, like Super Bowl style events, then it would really approach to like being worth it. And so anything over that would be like gravy. And the draft is totally one of those events.
Yes.
They're going to make a buttload.
And they're getting something. You don't think there's a World Cup coming to DC? I mean, the soccer people around here are bonkers. The most international fan base. The location is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to go to a Super Bowl. DC Super Bowl is now a thing because that guy's not here anymore. I mean, we're not going to it. I'm not going. I know you can't. So going to a Super Bowl is not like it used to be.
But when the Super Bowl was here, I'm going to it. So are you. We're going to it.
All right.
I mean, we will 100% be there. That's the Super Bowl. That's where I adopt your attitude of if you're going to go to one, go to that one. That would be that's the easiest Super Bowl to go to. I just think, and Derek, for your edification, for any of the folks who are tuning in, it does bear mentioning like I know there's bad owners still in this league. I know there's fan bases who like think that they're that their owner is the worst. But the negligence and disregard for the most basic, even like businessman, sense. The notion that if you did it just like this much right in the top 5 media market, and one of in the country, one of the top 10 markets on the globe, you just trip into success. That's how terrible he was. He couldn't even like trip into success.
Yeah, but he never knew how to do it right.
No,
that was
never.
You know what I mean? It's not like he swung and missed once. It was an ultimate failure.
Oh yeah,
of epic proportion. How he swindled his way into it. That's where we have to go back.
It was a class in how not to do it.
Oh Jesus!
I mean, and he was like a tenured professor. All right, so the draft is coming here. I think it's cool. Not because of the draft being here. I think it's cool because I think the NFL and Washington are looking at each other like, first date style. Like there's something. I think there's
generationally maybe, but our grandparents were dating.
Oh, absolutely.
Our grandparents went to whatever school together.
They were dating. Our grandparents did date. That is a fact. So I like that we're kind of on the map in that regard. And also, but then like just to comment on it, because I know some folks on the board were texting about it and I saw it, everywhere else. The fact that Trump made Roger Goodell and Josh Harris stand silently next to him while he took like a full press conference about tariffs and whatever else he's arguing about these days. The most ridiculous of things, Alcatraz. I mean, watching Roger Goodell's face and Josh Harris's face, I mean, they literally stood there silently for what seemed like an hour. I think it was close to an hour. That's hilarious. I mean, I don't care who you like politically. That's amazing. Like to make it like Roger Goodell just had to like take a turd sandwich bong hit for like 60 straight minutes.
Was he talking about Alcatraz during that too?
Yes, he was talking about everything.
The Alcatraz thing is that's the most insane thing.
You're an Alcatraz. I'm a Canada as the 51st state guy.
No, I think Alcatraz is the craziest because I think it would the cost of just running Alcatraz would be.
It's
like,
a museum. It's not
like,
even. It can't be
you
a
could
prison.
run 50 prisons for the cost of just. It's got no. It has nothing.
Well, what about the $75 million for the military-style parade?
90.
90?
Yeah.
We're up to 90? Well, I mean,
They got rid of Doge just in time to get all this stuff
we
in.
can get a few prisons done with that, too, as well, I would imagine. Maybe we can clean up Alcatraz with that 90. Just don't have the parade.
The Alcatraz is so funny.
The Gulf of America. It's also much fun.
It is. It is. Well, it's fun. I just liked watching. I mean, I don't like to see our guy squirm, Josh Harris. I love watching Roger Goodell squirm because he can take it. He gets paid hundreds of millions of dollars a year. I have no problem watching him squirm. It's like a kind of torture. You know what I mean? Like it's on the list. Like, you can waterboard someone, you can, deprive someone of their senses, or you could make them stand next to this guy while he talks for an hour about Alcatraz, and not be allowed to they didn't even move. It's amazing.
Well, Goodell, he's born for. I mean, he was he got put through it so bad with the deflate gate because you don't want to rain on that parade in that moment. Yeah. And I mean, talk about squirm, right? Like he's been through it all, right?
I mean, he's a bulletproof vest that the owners wear.
The mafia loves him as the front man. It's amazing.
He's the guy. He stands in front of you and with his sweaters of steel, and the bullets just bounce right off him.
But not to take you off your...
No, take me off.
While you're talking about crazy interviews, there was only one in the past week that was crazier, and that was that Belichick thing.
With the 60 Minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was insanely cringe. I mean, I don't know.
Did you see the Babylon Bee that said Jordan Hudson or Houston is dumping Belichick for Lou Holtz? And that because she wanted a grown up, someone who was a little bit more mature, knew what they wanted.
That's great.
The footage of them in the same room when they're asking him questions and she's like, jutting in. I know it comes off weird because you're like, they're like whooshing us right onto the scene, but like whatever. I mean, he's 70 something years old. She's 24. She's a little whip snapper. Whatever that is, I don't know. And she wants to get involved.
That was my
it's
max
all crazy,
cringe.
dude. It's all crazy.
That was my max cringe of the week. I only thought of it because of Deflategate.
Once you accept the fact that Bill Belichick is dating a 24-year-old, seriously, then all the other stuff isn't crazy at all.
No. That's been a wild week.
She got North Carolina kicked off Hard Knocks. Did you hear that?
Get nude Belichick out of my head. Can you say something? What else just happened?
She got the North Carolina Tar Heels kicked off of Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks was going to do a whole season around Belichick and the Tar Heels. She allegedly demanded to be made an executive producer, wanted to watch all the dailies and have and the directors were like, or HBO's like, yeah, we don't want to deal with that.
I don't get it. Is she like female Portnoy? She thinks she's running like Barstool, like Belichick.
Maybe this is.
I don't.
Maybe this is the nude Belichick tariff.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's all coming up.
Heavy.
Belichick.
It's hard.
Yeah.
No matter what, at the end of the day, he's got a big smile on his face.
You think?
He's got a big smile on his face. I just want him to be happy. I mean, he seems happy.
He's like, what did she say?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I mean, and really, that's the other thing. He doesn't give a shit about anything. He never has, and he certainly doesn't now.
Football, non-football related.
But even clearly now, he's not like, it's not like he told her to shut the F up and go somewhere else while he did his interview.
I heard his explanation and it was,
yeah.
Well, my problem is I was rooting for them. Like they were like my benefer or something. I was rooting for them. And the problem is it's devolving now. Like I'm watching a slow motion car crash. Like it's not working out. Something's wrong. So as a fan of the relationship,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think something's amiss.
My benefer.
Something's amiss.
I don't know how I'm getting that out of my head, my friend.
It is your benefer.
It's your benefer.
Yeah.
The benefer thing went crazy after the Puffy thing, and they got back together. So Beneferberger was around too. It got weird.
I'm just like I said, I'm happy for him. I'm happy he's happy. The media cringe. I just wrote that down, and some people on the board were. I mean, we should have a good example of media cringe. There's plenty of them to go around.
That 5-inch climb to the top there happened quickly for that young lady.
Yes,
congratulations.
it did.
Yes, she's killing it.
Yes,
she's killing it.
She is. She's doing great. So, Greg is the source. So I'm just repeating something that I heard. That was actually, it's like third hand through Greg, but that it said like a sugar baby is on like a super high leverage loan situation, and will be out on her can if she gets dumped by the coach. That was the quote, and you're left to assume who it is and who it's not. I think we all assume that it's Jordan. Is it Hudson or Houston? Whatever her name is, Jordan. We all assume it's her, and if that's true, that is scary because. Then there are some then there's the amiss stuff that really gets in. So if she's like super levered out, she's taking a ton of money and
but on what is she?
I don't know, dude.
Like a Nissan Altima?
She drives a Nissan Altima. You got them both in today. You got the Nissan Altima in for sure, and the Trap Fredo.
I'm getting hot now.
Yeah, you are. Well, that's the Trap Fredo. Speaking of media cringe. Kickers Gone Wild. It's a Kickers Gone Wild world, and we're just living in it and getting screwed by it. Justin Tucker, 14 years in, or 13, 14, whatever it is. I mean, I thought I would have assumed a shoe-in for the Hall of Fame given his career. He's out on his keister.
Yeah.
In a football decision that everyone assumes that it's a Deshaun. I mean, Deshaun Watson got $230 million guaranteed. Justin Tucker, who actually has won Super Bowls, got canned. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe,
must be pretty bad.
Knowing how Bisciotti runs the franchise, they did their due diligence, and I think that was a where there's smoke, there's fire scenario. Unfortunately, a little bit. I don't know how much, but enough so that there's no more Hall of Fame first ballot kicker.
It doesn't. It sure doesn't seem like it. That's a shame. I mean, that's like anyone. And he had a terrible season last year. I think he missed 10 kicks. For him, obviously terrible. For anyone, not great. So who knows? You know, if he was going to come back this year or not. That makes it a little easier. But it just goes another thing that goes to show like how much a player's conduct, which he's in charge of, dictates our lives as fans.
Yeah,
like,
don't be a dick.
Yeah, because if you're a dick and we have to cut you and we're gonna eat salary cap and we can't replace you because there's no free agents left when the draft is over. And oh my God, I mean, so you know that's Justin Tucker is not necessarily that right now because again, they draft for the first time ever. They drafted a kicker. They kind of saw it coming. Tyler Loop. All I'm saying is we've got to get people around Matt Gay immediately. We've given him like a lot of money.
Yep,
guaranteed.
So what do you suggest? Like a 6-man detail?
A 6-man gay detail.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. I teed it up for you.
Yep, that is what we need. This should be at the top of our priority list. We won 5 games last year on the last play. Is that right? Ish.
Yeah, I think 7 on the final drive. But then they got the ball back for like a play or 2 or something. So yeah, I think so. It
wasn't every one of those plays obviously wasn't a kicker, but from year to year, if you tell me 7 games are going to come down to the last drive, I'm going to assume a good amount of those plays are kicks. And
that's why we pounced.
That's why we pounced. So we got to keep this guy. I mean, no diners, no all-night diners, no massage, certainly no bathhouses, massage parlors. There shouldn't be no gyms, memberships. I don't want no co-ops. I don't want him doing like the Let's Dish, making their pizza. I don't want any of it.
All right, that's fair because
does he have that kind of rep?
No.
He's a kicker.
This position in town.
Yes.
And the kicker position these days.
The kicker industry got some dudes
in the Baltimore, Washington region.
Okay. I think he's going to be all right, but he does need a team.
He needs to have a team around him. You're right.
Yeah.
We got some good culture here.
Yeah, Mama Daniels. Good call, Ken Harris. We need to add him to the list. Once he gets on in that envelope, he's good to go.
Now we know who's carpooling together. Perfect. Mama Daniels.
Yep. There you go.
Matt Gay.
All right. So kicker feels good. At the moment, we have a kicker, and we're
a real kicker,
a good kicker, a veteran guy who can.
Our special teams are shored up,
all the way shored up,
all the way. We have everything we need, and we're ready to go. I love it. Tressway is a great holder. That should be not an issue. He's got 14 years experience. Ott was smooth as did you ever hear his name said last year?
That's correct.
That's how you kind of. I love it, man, and we'll get into some further explanations of how the special teams have improved. But you know, after a second draft and a bunch of free agent guys, we found some dudes that I think can fly down and make some plays. And I know we got a guy that can return it for the first time in a long time.
And we that's right. Jalen Lane is going to be a part of the return game. A
blur. He is a 4.3 legit. And we haven't had that type of pure speed.
When given a chance to return, and I think the way they've changed the touchback starting line, it's going to encourage more return plays. And we did great in him last year. on the coverage side, the interesting thing about Medrano, however you want to say it, Medrano, the linebacker from UCLA, 4.46, right? I mean,
fastest linebacker in the combine.
Fastest linebacker in the combine. I don't know that he gets on the field a lot as linebacker. Whatever.
3rd and 10, he's on the field.
Yeah, but
third and 10 plus,
because he can cover.
on the field.
He can cover tight ends.
1,000%.
He's going to cover tight ends.
He can tackle draw and he can tackle screen and he's quick and got instincts. Yes,
but I'm saying on special teams, he's a weapon on special teams because of his size and speed.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He is a force.
It's just like old school backyard football. You just get the baddest dudes and run down the field as fast as you can, and we have a lot of those guys.
Colorado boy off a ranch that grew up running rodeo. This dude's a freak. We talked about him last week, but he was a wide receiver for Chip Kelly, and he switched positions at UCLA. So now he's a 6'4", 230-pound outside linebacker who's running these routes and understands these concepts from the inside out. And if you see a couple of his plays breaking on routes, you understand it's not just physical, it's mental. Super excited about that guy because he fits something that we're trying to do and accomplish. And you got to get Bobby or Luvu off the field in a passing situation or have him down there just so Bobby can maintain the middle and you can rush Luvu. You got a dude. And I thought that was brilliant. That's why we're so good at the end of the rounds. Instead of just taking flyers on guys like that, we get these elite athletes with super hooked up traits, and that's what he is. So
it seems like there's more and more. Like I feel like we're entering a tight end talent wave, and having a guy like that is perfect,
no doubt.
Because it just seems like we're on the come up with a wave of tight ends to me.
We got Brock Bowers on the schedule this year.
Yeah, I mean across the league. Some of the guys are unreal, and some of the rookies are unreal. It's going to be so having a guy like that's great. I feel like the quick linebacker thing is happening.
Well, we've had not quick linebackers for a long time, and Bobby Wagner's he's lost some quickness, but he makes up for it with his head. But I'm like the moron who stays up late and watches. Like this weekend they did the top 10 games from 2024 on the NFL Network. Of course, I watched them all. I watched a couple of them multiple times, but one of them was Bills Bengals, and it was late in the game, and the Bengals had to have a first down, and everyone knew the ball was going to Jamar Chase, and it was two guys out on the left, and they set the coverage up perfectly, and so that Jamar Chase was essentially having to beat an outside linebacker to the hash. Joe Burrow hits him. It goes down. Who's the outside linebacker for Buffalo Bills who was responsible for that play? None other than Cody Barton, former Washington Commander. I mean, that's the level guy. Now, again, it's a hard assignment for anybody, but he was not even close, and that's the difference. If you get a guy who's 6'4" and runs a 4.4, 6.40, you have more of a chance.
Right, like you're both saying, it's a different weight class. You can't expect him to do what this guy needs to do with a guy like that. Now, that guy can survive against freaking Bates in coverage, perhaps for a snap or two. But not these dudes. And by the way, Jamar Chase is a freak. And in this new NFL, if you have a quarterback and a receiver they're going to execute. They're not going to get stopped.
Nope.
The rules are set up for them not to be stopped.
It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. It looked like they were playing catch.
Well, they're both around them. They're both as good. I think they're both as good at their position as anybody.
Yep.
And together, they're pretty special. And that dude, Joe Burrow, is something. He's something else. I think we got a guy on his level.
Yes.
I think they're on. But Jesus.
Yep.
That guy's all of it too, man. He is for real.
So he's been the comeback player of the year twice, I think, in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I know he was after.
He was just now.
Yeah.
He was this year's. I mean, he got it this year. He's the reigning comeback player of the year. I think he even made a comment like, I don't want to get this award anymore. But I mean, it's crazy to think like how battered up that he is, and how last season coming down the stretch, that offense was one of the greatest shows on TV.
It's a masterclass in offense and quarterback play and receiver play. And
Higgins is
watching those guys go about it. We beat them miraculously early in the season because they are, and thank God we got him early when Joe was still getting into his rhythm a little bit. But those guys offensively, god dang, that is fun to watch.
And they're like Guy on third down or Gadgety, for a lot of that last season, not all of last season, but a lot of last season, who they brought in the running back after Chase Brown took a beat was none other than Samaje Perine. It's just littered every time I'm watching these games. I'm like, wow, Samaje Perine.
Remember when he lifted a car and saved that girl's life in college? That was like the cool story we told.
It was the best.
Yep.
They were a good gambling opportunity early last year because I felt like the team thought their D was okay, and
They were not okay.
Yeah. You cut to the end. Narrator, they were not okay. But so they're running. They didn't have the full playbook, like go all out, like right in the beginning, and then they were like, "Oh wait, the D's horrible. We got to score 45 points."
They have dudes. I mean, they have like Jesse Bates is great. Obviously, Trey Hendrickson. They have a couple big guys. I don't understand how they did. I mean. I assume Dick LeBeau is retired. Is he still coaching? I mean, I don't know if he is or not. He's one of my all-time favorite coaches, but
shout out to Dick LeBeau.
Shout out to Dick LeBeau. But I was watching one of these games and I was like, and by the way, don't think I didn't try to live bet one of those games. I know it was in this game. I know it was late one night. Maybe a couple beverages had been had, and I was sitting on the chair and I was like, oh, Bengals, I've got this. And I'm like, all right, it's 3:00 in the morning and you're watching a 6-month-old game. But I was on it, and you know what? I was right.
And they lost in some really messed up ways early in this year, too.
Dude, it was ridiculous.
I don't remember the specifics. I remember just thinking, oh, Bengals fans. Jesus.
Yeah. When you don't have anyone on D making plays, I mean, it's tough to watch. That was early Bengals this year.
Yeah.
And then they just realized and just said, let's go with the offense, you know. And that's tough. But when you see it happening, you say, oh, this is a spot where you can maybe make some money. Because they're still, you know, running the offense like, hey, we have a respectable D, but you don't, right? That's
no, I don't know what they're going to do because they put all the money.
I know. They paid more on the offense.
I mean, they went all in.
Learn their lesson.
But
you're going to be a bear or be a grizzly. No, you're a Bengal, sir. You guys are the Bengals.
You're a Bengal.
You're the Bengals.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't recall who they picked in the first round. But no matter what, if they have Burrow, T, and Jamar, I think they're gonna feel pretty good about.
Yeah, your hands are full.
Moving the ball.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back. Let's get to our division, the NFC East. We're all three of us in the same division. As everyone knows, Derek is a Giants fan, which is the most acceptable non-Commanders fan, I think, in our division.
I agree. I usually would say the Arizona Cardinals, but you know
that's true.
That's
Phoenix Cardinals?
100% correct.
St. Louis.
It's not even close. Yeah. Like same with you guys. Mm-hmm. Like if first of all, Dallas, forget it.
Yeah.
And the Eagles, I mean, you know, especially with where they're at, like you know, there's no way that you can be like, I'm cool with the Eagles right now.
They make it hard.
They're so consistently Philly that like there's no ever in my mind desire to feel sympathy or like, you know what I mean? Like even when they suck, I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with that.
For example, last week, Ken and I were sitting here. I see my former teammate, outside linebacker, my man, shout out Joe Bada, in Philly watching the Nats game behind the I text him, and he texts me back, yo, Rick, I go, you look good behind home plate, Philly fan, Eagles fan, Philly guy. I didn't know anyone watched the Nats games. I'm like, why would I text this guy? Why would I reach out and say something kind to someone that's going to kick me directly in the
curlies?
If you didn't watch it, I get it. But last night, the Met Gala, I think it was the Met.
You watched the Met Gala?
Hold on, time out.
Okay.
No, I was watching the Knicks game.
Okay, because I didn't watch the Met Gala either. I felt
he was just flipping over, going back and forth.
Yep.
Yeah, I was rewatching the Belichick interview. And I stumbled on it.
Diana Ross.
No, but so my wife comes in. She goes, "Oh, look, Saquon's at the Met Gala," and I was like, "He's not a Giant anymore. I don't like Saquon." I was like, "If Jaden Daniels or something, call me when someone I like is at the Met Gala." Like Saquon. Liked him, but you know, it's like I'm, you know, now no Eagles. Sorry.
It's a tough one.
Yeah,
it's understandable. And how do they make outfits that fit those thighs? It's like the Hulk edition. So anyways, I know we don't want to talk about it, but
Fiore, I think, right?
I have no idea, but I know he's fashionista. He's artsy. He's got a creative side.
Us Husky people need to stick together. I come from a long line of
Derek's like
husky
long
thighs.
and lanky.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know if he gets husky status.
Husky up top. Husky up top is a different. It's a different.
That's a different
fit.
husk.
It's a different fit. That's the Eddie Bauer.
Although I hear husky down there is not frowned upon.
No, I've always been a husky down there. Yeah. Dude.
Chunky but funky is also interesting.
Yeah.
My buddy went to Xavier, and they called the girls there the Husky Muskies. the Cincinnati guys called the Xavier girls the Husky Muskies. That was like their rivals. Sorry, Xavier guys.
Yeah, cat's out of the bag on
Cat's
Ken.
out of the bag.
I'm sorry. I took this way off with this Met Gala. We got
Diana Ross's train. I saw it all over the place today. It was all the rage. 20 feet long, Ken.
Sydney Sweeney I saw pictures. I mean, I saw pictures of people. I saw Sydney Sweeney's picture. I saw Joe Burrow. He was there looking suave. Joe Cool was looking super suave. But I don't know what it is, because I know the things that you get taken a picture of in when it's all like crazy. Like you can't gala in that. You know what I mean? You have to have like a change to gala, and I can't.
But
gala.
Isn't that the gala? Like,
is the gala just
around?
the carpet?
I don't know.
But I've never galled. And even when I went to something that was called
I've
a
been
gala.
to a gala.
Yeah, I've been to galas.
I didn't gala. I just gallad.
I didn't.
I don't think anyone's changing in there.
They have to. Like some people wear like an entire
computer blue.
like food.
green screen,
a whole outfit
green
of
suit.
like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Like you can't hang out all night. You can't just be like, hey, and like you just have Jif dripping down.
Yeah, the Chiquita banana with bloody fruits. Like it's difficult. Diana Ross had a 20-foot long train following her yesterday.
That's heavy.
I
would
imagine.
Oh my God!
Training
you
camp.
have
That's
to be
what
right.
running backs do.
Actually, Ken, you have to be right. You're right. They have. This is something I'm going to look up tonight. I mean,
unless the whole thing is just walking, because there's stairs, and I'm like, that'd be kind of mean if you made someone walk up a bunch of stairs for no reason. Like, there's not even an actual event. It's just about people taking pictures of crazy outfits.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a crazy scenario.
Yeah,
the whole gallery is a bit off. Although I'd love to go gala one time.
I would gala if someone told me how to do it. I'd do. I put the time in, the hours. I figure
You're gonna have to get an outfit.
Well, yeah.
Ken's outfit would be fire for the Met Gala. It would be incredible.
I appreciate that.
I know it.
Well, again, I'm gonna commit all the way. I'm gonna but I'm gonna have a vision.
If
Isn't
I
that
had
what all
to
these
go,
people have? They have visions about like didn't Lady Gaga wear meat?
You have to be something has to inspire you.
Yeah, you have to be inspired.
And sometimes I'm inspired by meat. Sometimes I'm not.
That's the only. I'm not inspired by clothes, but rarely meat. I would say probably less so than Kevin. Inspired, that is.
I will say, according to Ken Harris, Pam Anderson's Dutch boy bowl cut.
I saw it.
It freaked me out. I'm having a hard time.
I'm freaking out too.
I had a minor panic attack.
And she's gone makeupless.
I get that.
That's fine.
Whatever it is, the Dutch boy shortcut. Like I can't even.
Yeah.
I think she's looking for her little Liebchen somewhere. I can't do it. It's so weird looking.
So all I can think
she has the back bangs with the. You saw it.
It's not attractive. But here's the thing.
I think she was at Knights of Columbus on Thursday.
I think she might have been.
She looked a little banged up Friday. That'll get her done.
Like, I think she's setting herself up for like a Joe Burrow comeback situation, because like she's created kind of, but she's very like secure and happy in it all. But she was one of the most gorgeous people on the planet.
Then she screwed it all up.
Yes, then she screwed it all up, and then
now she's going back. But like we missed that 10 years where it didn't have to be screwed up.
I've stood next to. I don't know Tommy Lee Jones personally, but I've been in the same room as him. I've seen him, and I can tell you, just by placing eyeballs on him, I mean, he had something to do with the downfall. I mean, if he like touched something, like like you look at someone, you're like, it's like Pigpen. Like there's like dust stink lines coming out from you. You're like, what's going on over there? And why is every single girl in this room attracted to it? But he is Tommy Lee for a reason.
Aura.
He's got
stink aura.
He's got stink aura.
Oh, how gross! How gross is stink aura?
Gotta love having some stink aura.
Just a big old hammer and the stanky ass pair of pits. He doesn't give two craps. That that magical hammer gets people all messed up.
Kevin, lead us off with. Here's what I want to do. We're not going to go team by team or player by player, position by position or anything. Just like once a week, I think we should have just a quick little huddle, powwow, if you will, on the NFC East. Just something. It doesn't have to be a question or just whatever. Let's just keep our eyes on the prize. Got to win winning the division is still the best way to make it to the playoffs. Everyone knows the drill. What's going on in the NFC East in your mind that we should be paying attention to?
This is what I wanted to talk about first, and it's what jumped out at me. And Derek is going to be heavily involved in this conversation. I want to pick his brain a little bit. You look at the Philadelphia Eagles. I look right in the camera. We all know this. They're blatantly in our way, all of our ways. Mm-hmm. If the Commanders are feeling the way we should be, they're in our way for everything. Twice a year, division, conference, Super Bowl, anything we want to accomplish with this roster we have. They lost 5 starters on defense coming off of last year. Lost 5. They only re-signed in the free agent. And I went out and got Jihad Campbell in the first round, replaced 2 of the linebackers they lost. And I know he's a good player. They signed the safety, Andrew Makuba, and a tackle in the 4th round, Ty Robinson, who I think is going to be a pretty decent player out of Toledo. Those are 3, decent guys, I think. But they lost all these guys. They signed the 3 defensive free agents they signed were all New York Giants. Adoree Jackson, Patrick Johnson, and Azeez Ojulari all played last year.
Isn't he a corner?
Corner.
Oh, yeah.
So Adoree Jackson's a corner. Outside linebackers, Patrick Johnson and Azeez Ojulari. All 3 of those are now not Giants and are Eagles. And the Eagles, I thought, lost 5 stars and lost a shit ton of good players. And that's all they came back. So Adoree Jackson, Patrick Johnson, Azeez Ojulari, how do they factor into the Eagles in your mind coming off of the Giants squad last year?
I think, the last time I was on, I was talking about Howie. I think he's the best.
Second best.
And,
he's really good.
You can't argue with what he does. When I think about it, I just think about one of 2 ways. Either, he knows, he senses weakness and he just pounces like he did with Saquon. And he's relentless, right? And so, he sees the turmoil there, and he's trying to take advantage of it. That's really what I think. But, the guy doesn't make a bunch of mistakes. And, sometimes you get division guys and you get intel and info. I'm less of thinking it's like that. But,
how do you like those guys? Like, what's the best guy? Who's the biggest miss there? Like, who's the best player going to Philly?
Who do you hate losing?
The corner.
Yeah, Patrick Johnson didn't play a ton, but the corner.
Yeah, that's what hurts to me. I mean, the defense is kind of a mess. We're in big time rebuilding, but the problem with now they got me back in. They got me back.
Abdul Carter and Jackson Dart.
And do you know why?
And your scatterboner. Don't forget about that one.
Scatterboner.
Well, the reason I'm in is it's like the echoes of the past, right? So, Ole Miss, QB, right? I mean, so that brings you in as an echo of the past. And then, I love like a Brandon Jacobs, everyone wants that. Huge back who can,
Scatterbo's not as big as him.
No, I know that.
Okay.
I know that, but it's like that's what I mean about the echoes of the. It's like it's kind of like a shocky, like this guys who get you excited, and so you have the Ole Miss QB, you have a multi weapon there, and I got to admit I'm excited, right? I mean you can do things in a couple years with. I mean, Neighbors is unbelievable.
I wanted to tell you just before I forget, because Kevin Ewald famously said live on the air back in 2007 or 8 that and had T-shirts, and he was on Howard Stern for Shockey likes Bukkake. That was like a big. That was his thing. That was his thing. It was a big thing. So you said Shockey. I had to...
I was a huge Stern guy, and I never heard the Shockey episode. That's a black eye on me. But I don't think we're gonna do much. There's just nothing cohesive happening, right? And maybe that was. Wait, we didn't mention that. Maybe that's Howie's. Is to keep it, keep any cohesion, out of the equation, because there's nothing cohesive. I'm excited about who we have, and you never know. You could pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Who's the best player on your defense? The best player on your defense. Your number one best player on your defense.
Oh God. Give me a minute on that.
Okay, because I'll tell you what. I thought about this, about the Giants, and I looked, and I saw there was one player on your team that was double teamed more, I believe, than any other player in the National Football League.
Brian Burns?
Nope. And he's great, by the way.
He's a great pass rusher. Yeah,
one on my team.
Yeah.
Freaking Dexter Lawrence.
Oh, yeah.
Dexter Lawrence is a beast.
I forgot about
so you have Dexter.
Beefy ass Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, you have Dexter Lawrence. I don't think anyone was more double teamed than him. Now, that could be for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, tackles get the most double teams, but he deserves it.
Yeah, and so you have Thibodeau, or Thibodeau, however you want to say his name, on one side. Now you have Abdul Carter, defense, pass rushing edge guys. They love Dexter Lawrence, the Dexter Lawrences of the world. Dexter Lawrence is going to eat up a double team, and you're going to get a one-on-one from one of those guys. It's dangerous. When the Giants have been good over the last 20 years, it's been because their defensive line has been well above average.
Yeah, the problem is I don't know how you recreate. I mean, the thing is everybody forgets. I mean, we were living in Coughlin's world, right? And that's why I had a big riff with the team, because I never liked the way Mara treated him leaving. I don't think Eli liked it. That caused another riff, right? But Spags, you get Spags involved, right? And that's why when you get Spags and you have talent on the line, I mean, I'm not gonna say that's all you need.
You're back in. I could hear the excitement after Thursday, and Thursday that was Jackson Dart and Abdul Carter.
Yeah, I was excited.
That's a great first round. The Giants got the offensive lineman and the defensive lineman in the same draft last year, right? Or 2 years ago. That's pretty strong.
Right, but it's the cohesion, and it's having like Spagnuolo and 4 talented guys, and you can do that anywhere, anytime, any place, right? But someone needs to be there to put those puzzle pieces together, and that's the issue, right?
Are you okay if Schoen and Brian Daboll get the Jackson Dart rookie quarterback leash for the next 2 or 3 years?
I don't like Daboll
because if Jackson Dart gets on the field this year, which if I was a Giants fan, I would want to see happen.
He's a QB guy. They drafted a QB in the first round. That's supposed to happen. That will happen as soon as they can possibly make sure that they can justify
well,
that.
Did you see, though, the Gruden?
And that's supposed to buy head coach time, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you saw it because everyone's making fun of it, but did you see the Gruden interview with Dart?
Yes.
Yeah. So
we had a dummy. The dummy was...
Yeah, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that year one, right? Let the guy study for a minute. Let's let the guy watch some film before he gets to double.
It could be dangerous to leave him on the sidelines too long.
So if Dart plays this year, I mean, that's going to be a disaster. I think you gotta find out if he's the dude. Because Arch Manning's available next year.
Are there Publix in New York? Or is that just down south?
No. It's got to be a Publix in New York.
I've been to one. I mean, one in Tampa.
Publix, no. Not that anymore. But some of these franchises move so damn fast. It's like Wawa, right? Wawa was nowhere. Now Wawa's all over the place. So I don't want to say that. And then people are like, oh, there's Publix everywhere. And I don't know. but
Well, if there is,
historically,
we're going to
they
eat
were
that W.
Oh yeah, and Jackson Dart is 100% playing.
That's why I think he's
this
playing.
year, 100%. There's no way you can't put him on the field. I love him. I think he's going to be just fine. I think the John Gruden interview, it does shine a light on what the college, a lot of these college programs. Listen, talent's talent. You can clap or not clap, and you can do a lot of things, and you can come into the league and be great. That's true. However, if there's a guy who could be even greater, and you're just giving him clap for 4 years, that's a disservice. So there's a now that comes down to like Jaden Daniels. He was a super smart guy. He did it, but he did it so many different ways, right? Because he bounced around program to program, and his calculator sped up before he even got to the pros. Jackson Dart's calculator, it ain't sped up at this point, is my guess. But I love him. I think he's going to be just. I think he's a worker. I think there's a reason why they took him in the first round.
Couldn't agree more. And the only thing I think about that gives me nightmares is some of these guys. I was excited about the Ole Miss team this year making noise, right? And it seemed like maybe it was like a Burrow sitch where the D just couldn't hang, right? But
they had 4 dudes drafted in the top 4 rounds off their defense.
Yeah.
They were stone cold loaded back there.
So
it's a fun place to go to school. I'll promise you that. But that might be a bit of a distraction.
I do feel like Dart could have done a little more down the stretch at Ole Miss. So I think that he should be in study mode. I think he's got all the tools. But the Gruden interview, part of me thought maybe this is like a rope-a-dope, like maybe he's actually like Einstein. But then I thought back to like the stretch of Ole Miss, and I was like, it's not a rope.
No.
The dynamic in that quarterback room is so tremendous. I would love all 3 of them to be on the John Gruden show, and we could all watch what goes down.
I think if you cut Russ Wilson at the appropriate moment, which is at some point this evening, I think that room is the best room.
Does yesterday count?
Yeah, maybe yesterday. If you could be like,
he's not terrible. He's just so dangerous.
Just get him out of there.
I feel like he's about to Carlton Banks any second. Like if he did that as an end zone celebration, I would, honest to God, pee my pants.
I think
it would be the greatest end zone celebration of all time.
Oh God, it would be amazing.
It would be honestly, it would be next level. I would never say anything in negative terms ever again.
Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if that happens, I mean, it's gonna break the internet.
Honest to God, I might implode. I might just spontaneously combust.
It might be the first time Google you get to 404 when you type in that you want that TD celebration.
Oh, if my toe tag says "Dangerous scored" and celebrated properly, that would be a terrible thing. What a terrible way to go. He does one of
these,
God.
Sorry, that's me coming on the bench. But I had this point to make earlier.
That's you doing what?
This on the bench. This is the what's it? Ed Orgeron's wife. In the White House.
It's not his wife, is it?
Yeah. Well, now.
Well,
officially.
No, it was an assistant coach's wife.
Okay.
It was the special teams coordinator's wife. Those guys
okay. Sorry.
Gorgeous wife.
Yeah. Okay. Either way, I did my best on the bench.
Yeah.
I was thinking earlier, and I was like, you know what?
Now I'm distracted.
If I'm a college quarterback with aspirations to play in the pros, and I have people telling me, and at this point in time, when it's the transfer portal rules, and you're a professional athlete in D1 college at the higher levels, I think 2 programs. I think you should be your goal. You should try to play for 2 programs, 2 great programs, 2 years under 2 different coaches, under 2 different. And I was thinking to myself, the quarterbacks that have actually come into the league over the last couple of years have done well. Then we started talking about Russell Wilson. He did that. He was Wisconsin and NC State back in.
And he also played a little baseball.
And he also played a little baseball.
Now he stunk. He had about a 67 batting average, but he was great in the field.
He had a cannon.
He had size 11 hands. He played second base. He just caught everything.
I think if you're going to be a professional quarterback in college, I think like the top. I'm not talking about everybody, but like the top 5, 6, 7 guys at any given time, they should completely, in my opinion, this is 1.5 cent opinion, they should play for 2 different programs. I think looking now, I mean Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, I believe.
Yeah. But that was all by necessity and cash.
Sure. And that's
when
okay.
The cash settles down and is established everywhere.
Yes.
Then you don't really have to unless you have to.
Now
you got to follow that money.
But the
better you get, you got to reach that apex. That's
and you can want to. But there's a handful of guys who can want to. Like if I'm Jaden Daniels, part 2.0 right now, and I just put 2 years in it, like a Tennessee or a Georgia or whatever. I'm going to try to go play for somebody for the. I don't know.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Because I look at guys. It has worked out.
I'm just saying you're going to hear. It's going to come out this summer, I believe. It's within the next 6 months. There's a gigantic push for a revenue share across the board in college. The individuals are getting all the money, and I think that they're trying to rectify that situation to a point. They want the individuals to get the majority of it, but they're trying to spread the wealth on the lower end, and I think you're going to see that. There's going to be a revenue share, and I'm not sure if it crosses over multiple sports or stays within the one. I don't know, but I know this. This is what these dudes, they're all going, this model is not working.
No.
And if it continues, it's not sustainable, so we have to get into something that is.
Get while they're getting
Strike
good.
while the iron's hot. Exactly my point.
Yeah,
yes.
and somebody, I'll think of the name of the coach who just said it in a moment, but the notion that there'll be 6 $40 million teams this year in college football. 6 $40 million teams. Now let's my memory serves. There's 6. I can see the graphic of 6. If you guys want to take some guesses, I'll tell you if who they are.
Texas, Oklahoma,
and Oklahoma, yes, for sure.
Texas has to be number 1. Right?
Oklahoma was the one I didn't know, but so Texas and Oklahoma.
USC?
Nope. I don't think so. I could be mistaken. Let's put that on the side because I'm trying to remember.
Michigan, Ohio State.
No and no.
Yeah.
LSU.
Yeah.
I know.
That's interesting.
Like Texas Tech. Would you have gotten Texas Tech?
No, but I know anywhere in Texas is viable to be a proper answer.
Yes.
Baylor. Is there anywhere else where you can just get $40 million, like from the guy right up the street and his buddy after a drunken golf outing?
I know.
All right, 10 each, guys. 10 each. Just give us 10 each.
Give us 10 each.
Maybe Jordan Hudson. Maybe North Carolina. Is that on the list?
I don't think so. I know Notre Dame.
Auburn, Alabama.
I don't know. Now because I know Notre Dame was the 4th. So there's 2 others that I'm. Oh no, Oregon was 100% one.
Yeah.
Oregon, and so that leaves one left.
Yeah,
so the one left was either Alabama, Ohio State, or Michigan. How did we not
say Oregon?
Yeah, Oregon 100%. By the way, welcome to the show, Ann Carpenter. I'll throw you up there. That's my sister-in-law, and I know I got some family watching. I get to say a famous line from an awesome movie. My son's going to Notre Dame. My son's going to Notre Dame.
Is it done?
It's done deal.
Wow.
Yeah, it just happened. It just happened today. So it's awesome. Yeah, so it's really cool.
Well, I think Ann Carpenter already knows this as well as Derek and I, but it couldn't happen to a nicer young man. What an absolute stud. What an incredible senior at St. John's. What an amazing cadet. He deserves all of it.
He is a good man.
That's so cool, man. And he's a great dude.
We're very excited, but as I was speaking, Ken Harris said the right answer. I remember it is Miami. It's the U. Those are your 6.
Dude.
So no Ohio State, no Michigan, no Alabama.
Great question. I can't believe that.
Sorry. It's very interesting how I'm thrilled to read about how this works. In fact, one of our very good friends was the NIL guy at the University of Maryland 2 days ago. Now he's a St. John's cadet again. I don't know if you've heard this.
Wait, say it again. Oh,
Brian Griffin.
Yes. No, I didn't know that.
So the guy in charge of the NIL money and how it's funded, how it's spread out, and how it's doled, how it's meted, what positions, what they're looking for, who needs what, who's asking for what, whose rep says they need this, is now he's now over at St. John's as the COO. Yes.
That's awesome.
Very cool because he's like, this is exhausting. Like Seriously.
in Maryland?
Yes.
But he'll exhaust himself. I mean, COO,
I know, but the NIL has no ending to it.
That's true.
There's
It's true.
no end.
Well, there's no rules.
There's no rules. There's countless money. The money it ends when the money ends. That's it. That's it, and that's all.
When all the money's when all 18-year-old kids have all the money
and
for football.
When all the monies are unevenly dispersed or unevenly pocketed, there's got to be someone to find more money though, or else that university isn't that university. So there's always going to be some way to find the monies. So
yeah,
you got to figure out who to give it to and why and for how long. It is insane to make that decision. That delineation about a 19 or a 20-year-old kid to me is bonkers.
Bonkers.
If you've had him in house for a year, fine. Then you make your choice.
Yeah.
There should be like some type of tryout. But he shows up from somewhere, spins it for 15 minutes out on the turf field, and they're like, "Hey, there's $6 million. We're gonna win the title. We're gonna win the conference." No. It's amazing to me.
Does he pick his classes that same day, like for the next?
You can pick your friends. Ken?
I'm just saying, but just don't pick your nose.
I'm just saying.
But I know that. By the way, Greg, I know that you're showing Ohio State. That's Ohio State. Flip that out. It's 100% Oklahoma. Oklahoma's got dough, stupid dough, and like Kevin's right.
Oh, I guess Ohio State also. But I was just mine was I don't know a damn thing.
No, it is Oklahoma.
I was guessing Texas and Oklahoma
yes.
want to beat each other so bad, and there's so much old money, and there's so many reasons why someone that's fifth generation great grandpappy left them a gazillion. They knew someday you're gonna have to pay for a quarterback.
Gonna have to pay for a quarterback. So it's pretty.
At least this is the above the board way. They used to pay for quarterbacks underneath the table with Trans Ams and shit. So.
Trans Ams. I would love a Trans
Ams, cheerleaders, a pack of smokes. It was a big deal.
I always said that I thought that athletes needed to get paid. And then I always said that you can't use it's too hard to figure out how to do it as an excuse to not do it. So I'm glad that they're doing it. They're doing it. They're paying the kids. And I understand the can of worms that it opens. Everyone's said that for years. Once we start doing this, what's it going to look like? No one knew. Guess what? Nobody knows. And that's okay. Figure it out. But like, if you believe that it's the right thing to pay these guys money because they're certainly producing money for people, then just figure it out. So you know what? Right now, good for the Caleb Williams and the is Hunter Dickinson getting another year in basketball?
No, I think he's having knee replacement surgery.
Oh, is that true?
Or possibly a hip. I'm not sure. No, he's not getting another year.
Okay. That was actually I fell for that. That was an April Fool's.
Okay.
I might have sent that.
Oh.
No, but also. They're negotiating the 5-year deal, which would give the 5-year guys a 6th year. Yeah. So there's multiple kids that have graduated from college basketball, from finished their eligibility that are in the portal right now.
Oh, not Derek.
In case that rule passes and they have another year.
Oh.
There's people hanging on like this is part of what but when the floodgates open, someone has to cool it down a little bit, and something has to happen next, and that's where we're at.
Yeah, we'll keep figuring out how to.
And Hunter Dickinson will play amateur basketball for $4 million for the next 11 years somehow.
Yeah. Oh God, it's so great.
I think that they should just go full crazy with it. Like it's already beyond peak nuts. Like you should be able to tie in the UFC and fight one of your opponents. So like make it even bigger purse. Like
in college.
Oh yeah, you can fight your opponent on UFC. Why not? If they don't rein it in, if they don't rein it
Abdul
in,
Carter versus Josh Connerly a week before the draft to determine draft position.
I'm down.
Yeah,
I mean they got to rein it, but mostly they got to rein in. Like they're not even coordinated on the dates. Wasn't there a situation where, like the portal wasn't synced up with NIL? And people were crossed.
That was an admin issue, Derek. They're like, we haven't figured out.
Yeah, the dates weren't even synced up, right?
It's not working.
Yeah.
All that stuff is so funny to me. But what else is funny to me is think about who was getting all those monies before the athletes.
Oh, yeah.
Were. It was the dude at the end of the street. It was they weren't selling drugs. They were selling kids. And a lot of those dirtbags got pocketed a lot of cash. The wrong people were shipping kids off for the wrong
bowl committees.
Got a shit ton of money, and now at least those guys are eliminated.
You know what? That's a great point. And I thought about this a lot. Never thought about that. That's a great point.
Well, around here, every third dude was one of those guys growing up, and my dad was an athletic director, so I listened to a lot of phone calls. I wasn't like certainly didn't happen by me,
Right.
but no, man, that stuff is terrible. And you'd see those guys hanging around the gyms locally, and you knew they weren't there during the regular season. They were AAU guys before everything kind of commingled. So whatever.
I mean, obviously, so many of these guys are transferring because their college doesn't have their major. They're just moving on. The other thing,
or their favorite professor also transferred. No one ever talks about that stuff.
No one ever talks about that stuff. Let's do a little unsung player. So I said this week we'll come up with a guy who will be responsible by the end of the season. Be responsible for a win or two for the Washington Commanders. But not necessarily a sung player. Now, just to set the guidelines, I can't pick people who I've been singing about. For example, Dietrich Wise, he's very well sung, but at least by me.
Has he been? I thought I was singing about him the most, and I still have him on my list. But that's okay. No, that's fair.
Yeah, we've been singing.
Okay, well, let's talk about him real quick for 2 seconds.
Oh, I think he's going to be the man.
What? And I want to give me your one, and I have one sentence for you.
I think he is I mean, he's like Dexter Lawrence-esque, but with a super high IQ and understanding how to. He sets the edge from the interior, and he knows his job, and it's a pleasure for him to do it.
And he's a longtime starter, and he's a Super Bowl ring wearer, and he cannot wait to teach not just the young bucks, anybody how to be a leader. He's one of these humanitarians. And I love it. He's coming from under Belichick and Super Bowls and Brady. He has seen greatness. He has witnessed everything. He has seen all of it. He was on the other side of the field across from Dan Quinn when Tom Brady had 4 come-from-behind drives to win a goddamn Super Bowl. This is the dude. So, great answer to take off the board, because I don't know if he's unsung.
Yeah.
He's unsung to us because we haven't seen him yet. That's an 8-year start. That's a 7 out of 8 year starter. Team captain, badass leader, real man.
He's also a guy whose name I've seen, right? So like I always think about like when you're watching football and you're watching 11 on 11 and they're facing this way. A lot of times, like the safety, like no one sees the back of a safety's jersey, right? Unless, before a play, everyone's looking forward. And there's certain guys who, if you put them at the point of the spear, I mean, the New Orleans defense, I remember seeing Wise. I mean, I always remember thinking, that guy's humongous, and knowing that, he's not like Aaron Taylor, he's not, or Aaron Donald, he's not Chris Jones, but what he is in this scheme specific.
Shout out Hogman Jones.
In this scheme specific era, he fits what Dan Quinn wants to do pretty perfectly.
No, I couldn't agree more. So, but you have to make your pick. Or can I make T's pick first?
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. On the way to Ken's tonight, I walked by T's house. I've been walking lately over to Ken's and back. It's
dangerous with these storms.
Yeah, but it's better not to be driving in these storms. Anyways, asked T-Bird Strachan a question tonight, and he answered it in 1 second. He said, the incredible human being who runs the blazing 4-3-5. I said, I agree. He said, Kevin, special teams. When was the last time we had a returner that could make a difference and win a game or two based on a punt return scenario? And if we all saw Larry Izzo celebrate when we drafted Jalen Lane in the 3rd round, he understands exactly what this guy means. He is a punt returner that reminds me of Mike Nelms. He goes north-south. He is not afraid to run up in there. And he says it's because of his mama. That's why he ain't scared. I love this guy. He's another one of these people that he's amazing in the community. But T. Strachan said that Jalen Lane will be the difference maker, the underrated performer on this roster that could get us a game or two with what he does in the field. And I think don't forget about him on offense. If we can get someone to stretch this defense from the slot position that runs a 4-3-5, can you imagine what Jaden Daniels can do underneath?
Yeah.
Especially standing in a clean pocket with his new offensive line. But we just were supposed to answer one question at a time.
So
T's is Jalen Lane.
Yeah, Jalen Lane.
I'm gonna let you answer next.
No, Jalen Lane was on my list because
me too.
Fourth round guy.
Me too, 100%. Me too.
He's not. You shouldn't sing too loud about a 4th round guy. He never had a quarterback at Virginia Tech. Most of the balls he received were reverses, bubble screens,
little flips, little shovels.
Yeah. And so
smoke screen, all that stuff.
He's a gym rat with who loves the game, and I think that what Adam Peters thinks he has in Jalen Lane is a guy who should never have been drafted in the fourth round. And I know that guy like McShay and a couple of these other outfits, he was in their top like 80, 85 players.
And McShay said, "I refuse to apologize."
He said, "I refuse to apologize"
about Jalen Lane being in his top 90 or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
He said.
Yeah, I know he was. I know he was.
I refuse to apologize. You'll see. So
I think that and it's like these receivers, they come into the league. I mean, if you think about the way the position is right now and the way the rules are lined up to favor these athletic, twitchy, agile speedsters, and time and time again, these guys come into the league and either their head cases or they're in the wrong spot or they're buried on the depth chart or their quarterback sucks or, everything. So it is, I think our situation is a good spot for one of those guys to end up and succeed because one of those guys, multiple of those guys comes into the league and succeeds every year. It's like when the turtles are hatched and they come out of the sand and they start trying to make their way to the ocean, but only 10% make it. That's like the Jalen Lanes. Like there's a lot of athletic analogy. There's a lot of athletic 5'10" guys who can blaze and who understand the game and who can catch a ball that's thrown to them. But they can't get picked off by a seagull or a shark or something. They have to get in the right spot. And Jaden Daniels with Cliff Kingsbury and Deebo Samuel and Terry McLaurin and everything else going on, he's making it. He's making it to the ocean. I think
they're gonna design so many ways for him to be dazzling, and that's gonna be awesome because there's a lot of other guys that you're not looking to see where the hell Lane is. You got Deebo, Terry McLaurin out there, and Jaden Daniels. Get this shit out of here. Sorry, but so here's your guy.
So also on my list, but I'm not going to say Greg Martin. Said Quan Martin. I think that's another good answer.
Greg's cousin Quan. Shit, I get it. Keep it in the family, baby. I
did have Matt Gay on the list, but we're done with the Matt Gay segment. So I'm going to go with the least sung of the sung. And I think before it's all said and done, Nate Herbig will play a role somehow, some way.
Nasty Nate?
Yeah, see, I
like it.
I don't want it to be because of a catastrophic injury. I don't want it to be for anything terrible. I just want it to be because we know you're going to play at least 10 offensive linemen this year.
How about if he starts over Wiley to start the year instead of because Cosme's not coming back?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be floored or shocked by
I wouldn't be shocked by it either. He's a big, strong dude. And again, he's another player who fits what we're trying to do uniquely. So I don't think anyone's singing about Nate Herbig. But at the end of the day, he could. How about this? We've watched, you can probably appreciate this, but we've watched a parade, revolving door of shitty offensive linemen really lead the charge of an impotent offense. Now, that wasn't the case this past season because the Nate Herbigs that were on our team were not, in my opinion, as good as Nate Herbig.
Yeah, they were also not 365 pounds with feet.
He's gigantic. Just get him on the field. All right, so that's. I'm going to go with Nate Herbig. By the way, the only other player I had Luke McCaffrey, but we've sung.
Got it.
Bobby Price. I thought about it for a half second, only because he's 6'4" and gigantic.
Have you ever seen him tackle somebody?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So let's keep it.
Never.
So you did a great job.
Never.
I love your pick. And I wouldn't have liked your Bobby Price because that was a great pick. And I had that written down as well. I think you and I were on the same page here. I'm going to go out, and mine isn't the unsung, but I love this new running back. I'm just going to get that off I'm not picking him. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, I think, is going to be Rookie of the Week in the NFL, in the NFC 1 week, at a minimum. I said I've got the over on that half point. If there's a half week spread, I've got it. It's going to happen. Brandon Coleman was our starting left tackle. Then next thing you know, in the offseason, we thought he was our starting right tackle. Now, apparently, no one's mentioned anything, but DQ said he was moving to right tackle. I think we all think Connerly is the right tackle. So the unsung portion is the best player on our offensive line last year has his job switched twice. And now when you run the NFL's favorite play, guard tackle counter, GT counter. We have a dude at 6'4", 325 that's fast as shit, athletic as a horse, and you know what that means. And our screen game and our smoke package and anything we do, taking an offensive lineman and running him athletically to a spot in this offense, this dude at guard, when we say the high tide raises all ships, our 2 tackles are all amazing athletes, but not like this man. He is kind of built to be a perfect guard. Would have been a great tackle for us due to necessity. Now that we've upgraded our offensive line, we have the great fortune to have a bad son of a bitch, Brandon Coleman, pulling, tackling, out on quicks to the boundary, to the field when you pull from the weak side. This guy in the middle is a masher. His feet is athleticism, and coming into his second year, God damn, I'm excited about this guy playing guard.
The cool thing about Brandon Coleman and Josh Connolly specifically, and I know the other Tunzel's a pro, coming from Auburn, right? Brandon Coleman,
yeah,
and Oregon, 2 offenses that definitely incorporate the RPO. Obviously, they both of those programs have had very athletic quarterbacks. Again, having watched like 50 hours of football over the last however many days.
Bo Nix and Dylan Gabriel. Yes, those are pretty decent quarterbacks that they blocked in front of.
The ineligible lineman downfield, it's such an annoying penalty, and it's a fine line in that little gray area.
Unnecessary evil.
And the umpires are looking for it, and it's hard to call, but they do. But so you have to have the feel for that part of the game. So Jaden Daniels at any given time can pull it and run. We didn't have a lot of ineligible men downfield last year. We did have a terrible one against Tampa Bay, but
Allegretti.
Yeah, it happens. But that's why Brandon Coleman.
It's not their fault.
No, it's so hard.
You can't have eyes in the back of your head.
It's
a timing. It's a sense. It's a feel.
I don't understand how it's not called more often.
And I don't understand how it's coached because it's the great unknown.
So like that aspect of an offensive lineman, just like the feel of that play alone, to me is invaluable. And I think both of those offensive linemen have a great feel for that particular play. It's such a huge part of our offense. Having an athletic quarterback behind you as an offensive lineman requires you to have an additional skill. And that is one, and that is it. That's the one. You got to know, you got to feel it, you got to understand it. I think those two guys do when they're on the move, because they're going to be on the move because of how athletic they are.
Oh my God! So it's a whole new ball game. How athletic when Cosme comes back fully, and we know that's the guy that played right tackle for us. So we now have 4 guys starting on our line that have played tackle for us. 4 tackles and an All-Pro badass Biotish. That's 3 All-Pros. That's a first-round draft pick and our best player off the line last year. I'm thinking exactly what Robert Cohen's thinking. Potentially the best offensive line we've had in town since 1991.
1991. That was a good line.
Yeah, he's correct. It's a great line, Robert Cohen. And I believe
Mark Urban's still sitting behind
potentially that's what we're trying to accomplish. I don't know if anyone can say that, we'll ever get to that spot. But what we have right now is our athleticism on the offensive line is the greatest it's ever been since we've started this show, times 10. We had Trent Williams. That's the only guy we could talk about. Great guy to talk about. But we had nothing like him. Nothing else to pair with him.
Chris Samuel was, during the Trent Williams era, nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
Chris Samuel was, those neck
Trey
injuries.
Johnson, maybe. In the old days. But
no
one.
Picture those 3 on the same line. Connerly, Tunsil, Biotish, Coleman.
Yeah, and
freaking Cosme when he's healthy.
Yeah,
and maybe your dude Herbig because no one's
drafted a guard.
We just downgraded Wiley.
A guard. Sorry.
We just said Wiley, we want to cut you, and he was like, "But I really want to stay." And they were like, "Well, we'll keep you as a backup." So we just, in his final year of the contract, paid him as a backup, and he was like, "I'm cool with it." And we're cool with it. That's the shit that started to happen to a winning franchise. We've never realized that before. People that wanted to stick around with us were because they had to sit on the sidelines, eat a Snickers, and get a freaking $5 million payday with a trick hammy. Now we've got guys like this dying to be on the field and happy to be part of the culture.
Well, and also, he's smart because he knows he will play. That's
damn right, and you're right about that, Ken. I do believe, unfortunately, it's a long ass season, short ass preseason. We know
we're playing 10 guys,
and that's why we put last week our backup lineup, which would have been our best starting line. 5 of the last 10 years. 4 of those backups are on 1-year deals. Like we're just going about this properly, and I really respect the shit out of it.
It was this one.
Yeah, look at that. I believe it's 420 games and 204 starts. And Martha Stewart.
Yeah, no.
Damn, man. Nasty Nate.
That's unreal.
Dieter.
That's our backup.
That's crazy.
So this is when everyone's bitching about taking Connerly, I'm like, guys, isn't our best player number 5, the quarterback? Doesn't it make sense to do this?
Yep.
Jesus H.
Who's in the upper right?
That's Wiley. 88 starts. And by the way,
No, I'm talking about the SI cover.
Oh, that's
Team Mom, brother.
That's Team Mom until
Martha Stewart. So we've been really delaying this, and please apologize to Ken Harris.
Yeah, I got the list.
So I know, but
we've been hanging on. We got
but we need T's vote.
We need T's vote. Team Mom final vote will be important because T.
When should we do it? Should we do Team Mom final vote next?
By the
week?
way, here's the list we have right now. We can pare it down. Maybe we have an episode where we pare it down before final vote.
Fair. It's a big decision.
Yeah, because Christy Brinkley. No, so again, Team Mom. We're not. It's that can't be like Sydney Sweeney or someone like because she's not a mom.
I'm going to say something in the show because everyone's not paying attention anymore. Sydney Sweeney's body is absolutely incredible, and I think her face is like a 7. Sorry, but if we're talking about gorgeous people, not just people around like the world, like if we're talking about specifically gorgeous people, which she is one of, her face is fine. She's got an amazing body. Am I wrong that her face isn't like a headshot? No. I want the Team Mom. The Team Mom headshot should be of a gorgeous woman.
Yeah.
That I believe should be a gorgeous woman. I don't care. You can be gorgeous at 80. You can be gorgeous at 70. Your face should be of a gorgeous woman.
50 and over? Is that what we said?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. So we're gonna give. I mean, this is a job.
We don't want Sydney Sweeney.
I just saw you cross someone out. Was that Pam? Was that Pam Anderson?
No, I
hope so.
No,
I'm kidding.
But here's the list.
Little Dutch boy, little Dutch boy Anderson. Was she wearing clogs at that Met? Like this was ridiculous. Everything I've ever learned. My whole life, everything I've known has changed. And I know that. And I've usually been good with change. But when Pam Anderson goes from luxurious blonde locks and a red full-length bathing suit.
That's right,
to
Ken Harris.
Dutch boy. I mean, it looks like I cut her hair last night in the dark after 15 whiskeys.
Yeah, no, that sounds better even.
When my mom gave my sister that haircut in 1987, when my grandmother showed up, the screams were so loud. Does anyone else have a comparison?
I mean, it was kind of like the Jim Carrey Dumb and Dumber haircut, right? It was like,
she's just totally.
It's exactly what it is. She's. Oh my God!
Lloyd Christmas.
Oh, I love you, Pam.
She's Lloyd Christmas.
She Pam Christmas. I'd never do that. That's terrible. How does she go from numero uno to Pam Christmas?
Yeah. Wait,
can you put Pam Christmas down as Team Mom?
Pam Christmas.
Just put her on the list because I feel bad because I was saying terrible shit.
Strong name, Pam Christmas.
Pam Xmas.
Like that.
All right, Christy Brinkley, Halle Berry, Sandra Bullock, Marissa Tomei, Dolly Parton, Pam Grier, Mrs. Garrett,
Mrs. G.
Ava Longoria was a late ad, but she's got to be in the mix.
Did you see that? Greg Martin says this was one of the conclave topics, and Ken Harris comments, "There's no white smoke coming out of the Meringolo chimney."
Yeah,
and I love that because let's set the date. Let's tell them we can't keep the people waiting. I agree with you.
All right,
not tonight, not next week.
How about next week we pare it down?
All right, we'll pare it down. Everyone come with your final, and we'll discuss.
Final four.
What do we pair? Final four.
We'll come up with a final four, and then T will vote. T will be present for the vote on the final.
Well, Derek has to be now too. He's all in.
How about I'll manage the smoke?
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll be on smoke.
We have a smoke guy. That's brilliant.
Oh God, that you've had a couple good ones tonight, sir. That's my favorite. Smoke management.
Yeah, I'll be handling that.
Conclave Meringolo smoke management, green room style.
Even though the Caps lost in overtime tonight and the Nats lost to the Guardians, not a great day in Washington.
Nats won early. Nats won the first half of a doubleheader, so it wasn't all bad.
Sorry. I get so bogged down by the recency bias. Sorry, but it's true, and I should. And there were like 2 or 3 games below 500, just hanging in there. We'll see.
17-20, we're going to be all right, sir.
It pisses me off because we're ahead of the Braves in winning percentage. And we have a 1.3% chance of going to the playoffs, and they have a 43% chance of going to the playoffs.
Okay.
I'm like, what the hell, dude?
It's okay.
All right.
All that matters is the conclave.
AI, dude.
Derek's in charge. We have 2 weeks of this. That means 2 weeks from tonight, you're in charge of what color should the smoke be?
Yeah.
Let's determine. It'll be determined by
I don't know. Can we do like smoke vision? Can we send it to the internet? Like,
is
like
orange
smell-o-vision?
is orange drizzle orange?
Yeah. I was going to say, my barista will help me choose
your bud tender. Okay,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
excellent. All right, so we will be back next week. That's going to be one of our main segments. I think we'll come up with a brand new NFC East thought of the week. Kicker's gone wild. I think we can put a pin in that for just a while. I think now we pretend that he's not there, and we just pretend like nothing's going on. Matt Gay doesn't exist.
You mean don't ask, don't tell?
Don't ask, don't tell. That's pretty good, my friend. Actually, that's fantastic. We're going to just stay away from the kicker for a while and just hope that he shows up week 1 ready to kick game winners. Derek, thank you so much for sitting in with us this evening.
Thank you, guys. It's the best.
Then do it more often.
Love the show. It's fantastic. I'm so excited about this team, Mom. Now you got me thinking.
It's an important role.
It
Martha
really
Stewart
is.
was, she really set the bar high as an 81-year-old swimsuit
She did.
magazine cover
Cover
model.
model.
Former fellow.
Also smoke manager with
She
Snoop
looks
Dogg.
better. Martha
Yeah.
Stewart looks better than Pam Anderson as of right now.
That's-
What the fuck?
it's
What
really,
the fuck?
it's troubling. It's very troubling.
Oh my God.
I'm probably
Get
taking
me out to the sequester room, stat.
I'm probably taking Pam Xmas over Mrs. Garrett.
Ken Harris says we should be sequestered before the smoke comes out. I agree with him.
We will sequester per protocol. He's Kevin Ricca.
That was a fun show. I had a
Sequestering.
blast. Derek, make it a little more regular. I know there's someone we need to get in touch with, and we will. We're going to do what's right
All right.
for all of us on Tuesdays.
For everybody.
Thank you, boys.
I'm Ken Meringolo. And to all the folks who hung out with us tonight, we really appreciate hanging out with you guys. It's going to be a fun summer. The best part about from mid-May all the way through late August is that we, with all due respect, intended and implied, we're one of the 2 best teams in the National Football Conference, reigning as such. We are one of the 2 best teams in the best division in the National Football Conference. And we get to talk about an awesome roster, a great coaching staff, a lot of momentum in a cool sports city. It's going to be a fun summer. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. We're coming back in 7 days. EO, please, sir, do the honors and take us out. We got to. I always have to make sure I don't come back on the wrong part of the show. There we go. Oh, wait. We're still live.
Still live. Abdul Carter still ain't getting no numbers from nobody.
Yeah, wait. We didn't ask you. We still have to have you in the background. Are you okay that Abdul Carter asked for Lawrence Taylor's jersey number?
No.
Yeah, rude.
Right answer.
It's
Rude.
unbelievable.
Yeah, come on, bro. And by the way, they're both great. One's a great rookie to be,
This
but
is the
one's
stuff-
greatness.
This is the stuff where I just shake my head.
Right.
I can't. It's so insane. So insane. You
I
have to
agree.
be insane to you have to be a child
I agree.
to even ask that
I agree.
question.
If anyone's like, "Hey, can I get 44?" Because I worked since I was bro. Do you want to get bitch slapped everywhere
Yeah.
you walk in town for the next 10 years? No.
I don't know who. I think it was Mina Kimes or who. Somebody made the point. It's like, why do you even want to put that much
right.
pressure on yourself? Why would you even do that?
But
That's crazy.
he's a worker, so I'm not mad at him. But they're idiots. They're just kids. They have no idea
That's
that their
childish.
grandparents were dating each other. They have no idea.
Grandparents, watch out.
Getting all handsy with everyone's grandparents.